This song was made in under an hour by someone with little to no musical experience. This goes to show how little is really needed to make cool music. Whether you're a professional musician, complete novice, or somewhere in between, there's a niche for you to get started in creating music. By the end of this, I would have liked to convince you to go download a free software and begin experimenting with different sounds. It is very inexpensive to get started, it requires less knowledge than one might expect, and it's stimulating, rewarding, and fun. Now, what's the first thing most people think of when they imagine how music is created? They think of the equipment, the instruments, and the tools. Many of us have probably seen videos of our favorite artists working out of the most extravagant and opulent studios with millions of dollars of high-end gear, no expense spared. But these tools are not always necessary to make good music. Many big artists today use very cheap equipment. A notable example of this is Soulja Boy, who made a platinum record using a pirated software with all default free sounds. Now, this software he downloaded is called a Digital Audio Workspace, or DAW, and it is a piece of software that allows you to record and produce music. There are free softwares like Cakewalk or Audacity, but if you have an iPhone or Apple product, you can get GarageBand. Now, according to Rolling Stone, GarageBand has over 50 million users today, and I just happen to have been one of those users. This is the software I got started in. So now that you have a digital space to record sounds in, what sounds are you going to record? What are you going to make music with? So most DAWs come with stock sounds already inside of them, like drum kits, bass sounds, piano sounds, and other things of those nature. But what if you want a more acoustic and organic sound? Well, there are a lot of options for this. One of them that I use is this kalimba. It was very inexpensive, very easy to learn, and has a nice tone to it. You can also go to places like garage sales. I found my guitar and my bass both at garage sales for very reasonable prices. Of course, there are a lot of other ways to make sounds. Your voice is free, and all around you are percussion instruments. So it doesn't cost much to make music, but what if you have no musical experience? While playing a musical instrument and knowing music theory is an important skill, it is not needed to create music. Some music today uses something called atonality, or a lack of tonality. And this is when you don't pay attention to what notes you're playing, you just kind of listen to the energy it creates. My favorite example of this is my favorite jazz piano player, Errol Garner. He was an improviser from the 60s, and he was known for playing the most complex and beautiful chords. Errol Garner could not in fact read music, and so this goes to show you how music theory is not always necessary. For the song that I played at the beginning of this speech, my friend used what's called loops to get him started. Now, loops are these little bits of sound, maybe a drum loop, or a bass loop, or a piano loop, that you can layer together and start off your song like that. So, it's cheap and it's easy, but why should you get into making music? Well, during the time of the pandemic, when we're spending a lot of time inside doing nothing, it's a great way to de-stress and stay stimulated. Producing music teaches creative skills, critical thinking skills, and a study conducted by the University of British Columbia and other such studies around the world have shown links between musical activity and higher test scores in English, science, and mathematics. So this shows how keeping your mind mentally active through music can be very helpful. Aside from building your coordination, cognitive skills, and creativeness, it's just plain fun. Some of the most fun experiences that I've had throughout my life, some of the greatest thrills that I've experienced, have been through music, whether playing with friends, creating on my own, or just experimenting with the wide world of sound around us. So we've seen how music is very cheap to get started, we do not need any musical experience, and it's a fun and rewarding way to stay stimulated. Stay groovy.